Welcome to the Body Rhythm Podcast. I'm your host, Chelsea Johnson, talking all things diet, lifestyle, health, and healing with a dose of heart and soul. Welcome to the Body Rhythm. If you've tried quick fixes and still feel exhausted, then today's episode is for you. I'm also guiding a 14-day spring reset in April, which is a structured experience focused on calming stress, restoring steady energy, restoring and supporting digestion, and clearing the mental noise. So I'll share more at the end of today's episode. So I want to talk to you about something that I see all the time in the wellness and your yoga world, which is the quiet expectation that one class, one practice, one routine should fix all things. That if you come to yoga or you come to meditation or you try the right supplement, then you should leave feeling better than when you arrived. You should feel lighter, healed, and if you don't, then something must be wrong. I teach a yoga for depression class, and a student recently after the class shared that she still felt sad afterward. And I want to talk a little bit more about that moment because it says so much about how we've been taught to think about healing, to think about our own journey. And this student didn't do anything wrong. It's not because the class didn't work, but it's because healing doesn't actually work that way. And there's an unrealistic promise, I think, in today's modern wellness world, which is that somewhere along the way, wellness has become transactional. If you do the class, you'll feel better. If you follow the routine, you'll optimize the body. If you hack the system, then you bypass discomfort. If you do a yoga class, if you do the breathwork sessions, if you do the cold plunges, the morning routines, the evening routines, then you'll feel better. Then you'll be healed. And these are often presented as solutions to whatever is plaguing us, right? But here's the quiet truth that we don't say enough, that most of these are introductions. They're not cures. A single yoga class can support the nervous system, absolutely. But one class is not going to undo months or years of grief, of stress, of exhaustion, of depression, of chronic aches and pains and tension in the body. And when we begin to expect it to, we turn the body into another thing that has to be managed. It becomes another project. It becomes another thing that we have to get right. And so when my student said that she still felt sad after class, I heard honesty, right? Not failure. Because sadness doesn't mean that the practice didn't work. It doesn't mean that there is something wrong with her or her body. But the practice worked enough to let the truth surface. Yoga doesn't exist to erase emotion. Yoga and Ayurveda exist to create enough safety and stability in the body, in the mind, for sensation, vibration, feeling, and awareness to be felt. And that's not always comfortable, especially in depression, in sadness, in grief, or burnout. I think in society, we're told to suppress those things and keep moving forward. And so usually we just push those feelings down, 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 and we keep moving forward. But eventually those feelings begin to surface in different ways, whether it is in pain in the body or digestion or stress or anger or depression, when we are in these chronic states of stress or overwhelm, depression, grief, sadness, the body often needs time before it can trust the ground again. It needs time to understand that it's safe to be held, it's safe to lie on the floor, that there is no external stimulant coming to attack the body. And so one class, one practice can open the door. But healing happens when you keep returning, when the door stays a little bit open, and then little by little by little, the door continues to get a bit wider and wider and wider. Healing isn't a moment. It isn't a peak experience. I don't know anyone, except perhaps in the Bible, where someone is like, whoa, healing was that peak experience, the best thing of my life. Right? Usually it's not a breakthrough moment. It's not catharsis. It's not a perfectly optimized routine, but it is a rhythm. It is the ability to show up for ourselves again and again, and perhaps do a little bit more than we did last time. It's beginning to notice what changes. It's beginning to notice where I hold emotions, where I hold stress in the body. Do my neck and shoulders feel like they're holding the burdens of the world? Or maybe the stress and the burdens are just so deep down in my lower back and hips that I can't move. It is listening when the body says, that was enough. It's resting when the body asks for it, when nothing dramatic happens. From an Ayurvedic perspective, the body heals through consistency and rhythm and safety, not intensity. And from a nervous system perspective, regulation happens through repetition, from lived experience. Healing is often quiet and it's unremarkable. And that's why it's so easy to miss. Many times we're looking for this big aha moment and it doesn't happen. For instance, myself, and I know a lot of people who have stopped eating gluten or limited gluten because of the stress that it does put on the digestive system. But usually it takes a while to see the benefits of being gluten-free. And before we get to the benefits, maybe we're dealing with aches and pains in the body, fatigue, headaches, until we get a few weeks or months down the line. And then we realize, hey, I'm feeling a little bit lighter. I'm feeling better. I feel more energetic. So this approach of the body being something that we have to fix. Well, I think for one thing, you're not broken. And this mindset shift to remind ourselves that we're not broken is very important. We're just out of rhythm. We're just dysregulated. We're out of homeostasis. And so that's the healing, is to begin to come back to rhythm, to become back to balance, to come back to homeostasis. Yoga and Ayurveda are ancient practices that work best when they are not rigid, when they adapt to the specific person, when they adapt to the specific circumstances. And when we approach wellness with a fixing mindset, we unintentionally override the body again, right? It's the mind taking control and telling the body what it has to do, instead of the body kind of leading and telling the mind, this is what feels really good for me. This is what I need right now in this moment. And so when the mind overtakes the body, we push through fatigue, we force appetite, or we eat things that really don't nourish us or bring us pleasure. We expect ourselves to be calm on demand, but the body doesn't respond to force. It responds to a relationship, to give and take. And so listening is not passive, it's a skill. It's learned and it takes time. And this skill usually isn't something that we are taught, because we are taught to override what's happening in the body. When we begin to listen to the body, when we begin to feel the sadness, when we begin to feel the emotion, it doesn't mean that something's wrong. It means that we're beginning to feel again instead of suppressing. It means that instead of pushing the things down into that black void, the things are rising to the surface for us to deal with and then to let go as we move forward in our life experience, in our life journey. So, what if we reframed our expectations? What if a yoga class wasn't meant to make you feel better, but to help you feel more honestly? What if digestion and mood, energy and sleep weren't problems to solve, but they were signals asking for a slower conversation? Healing doesn't mean you leave every practice uplifted. Maybe healing means that you leave more connected. And when you're more connected, that's where the healing begins. When you begin to honor the signals that the body is giving you, that's where healing begins. It's changing from the ways that served you maybe in the past and realizing that they no longer serve you here in the future. If you have ever walked away from a class, a practice, a wellness tool and thought, why am I still feeling this way? Please know that this is not a failure. It is your body speaking. And your body speaks in a way that is longer than one class. It's longer than one routine. It's longer than one season. Healing happens and is built through rhythm. It's built through listening. It's built through choosing to work with the body instead of trying to fix it. It works with choosing the body instead of trying to judge it. Each time that we judge our body, each time that we judge ourselves, we break our own heart. And so as you move forward, perhaps begin to look at ways that you are looking for practices to fix you instead of realizing that you're not broken, right? You're just a little bit out of rhythm. You're out of homeostasis. And once you can begin to recognize that, then we begin to bring in the tools and the practices and the listening to bring the body back into rhythm, back into a rhythm that sustains you and nourishes you and nurtures you. If this resonates, this is the work I continue to explore through daily rhythm, digestion, rest, and gentle seasonal reset. You are not behind. You are not broken. You're learning a new pace, and that matters. And real healing isn't a hack. It's rhythm and repetition. I am guiding a spring reset this April that offers a contained 14-day rhythm designed to steady digestion and clear mental noise. And links are in the show notes. I'd love to have you join me and begin to listen to the body in a more open and nourished and healing way. Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Body Rhythm.